Cheers, queers. What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today, we are finally going to talk about Heartstopper Season 2. Yay!
Woohoo!
Been a long time coming. Had quite a break from Season 1, but now we're ready to get into all the fun that was honestly Heartstopper Season 2. I loved this season. I thought it was so great. It's very rare that, like, it just gets gayer and so much fun.
Boy, did it get...
I know.
Queer, I would say.
It did. So
many fun things to talk about.
There really is. And new characters and just so much happened. And at this point, I have now officially read all of the Heartstopper books except Winter's Coming. Or this winter.
Winter's Coming? Is it Game of Thrones?
No, this winter. Sorry. But I've read them all, including Solitaire, the one that started it all. So now we talk about book stuff. So are you ready to get into Season 2?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So Season 2, Episode 1 is out, and it picks up immediately after the Season 1 finale. Like, immediately. It's the next day. Charlie and Nick are officially boyfriends.
Woohoo!
And already being stupidly cute. Like, Charlie is trying to get ready for school while, like, putting on his sweater and texting Nick at the same time. Because it's just, like, I feel like for Charlie, he finally got what he wants, which is, like, a boyfriend who pays attention to him. And somebody he can actually call boyfriend, which he does. He texts "Good morning, boyfriend" to Nick. I feel like that's so huge for Charlie.
He finally has someone who cares about him.
Yeah, and will let him call him his boyfriend, because Ben would not do that at all. He was just like, we're not boyfriends. Like, I don't even like really know you or want to know you. So
I mean, we don't call him Misery for nothing.
No. So right off the bat, Charlie is beyond himself because he finally got what he wanted. And at school, of course, I like the beginning because it very much parallels like the first time they meet, where Charlie walks into the classroom, but instead of seeing Nick sitting in his seat, it's just like, where's Nick? And then Nick does the hands over the eyes and he's like, here I am. So it's a really cute, like, parallel twist. The way they start this episode, it's very cute. But of course, that's not enough of a greeting for your boyfriend for your first day at school. So Nick takes Charlie into an abandoned supply closet, which the irony of immediately running to a closet. But Nick has reasons. So he's like, Charlie, I came out to my mom last night, because remember, we picked up immediately after Season 1. So, which is like a big deal. So Nick's riding high because that obviously went well, because he told Olivia Colman, and
Olivia Colman just cried at this news because he was so amazing.
I know, he was amazing, and he has the best mom. And so it went really well, the first person he ever told that wasn't Charlie. So riding high on that. So as a reward, Charlie kisses him, because that's what you do. And what I like about this whole scene, and then they just keep kissing in the closet, which is cute. And what I like about this whole opening is that off the bat, things are going really, really well for Nick with coming out on his own terms, because telling his mom was his choice. He wasn't outed to his mother the way Charlie was basically outed to the world by just homophobes. So that's going really well. And Charlie is very pleased to hear this, because he obviously doesn't want, a big theme of this season and just in general is just that Charlie doesn't want Nick to experience what he did, because what he went through was just awful. And so Nick has control of his narrative coming out. Charlie had zero control, and he has some residual feelings and trauma from that. So Charlie is clearly like very invested in Nick staying in control of this narrative throughout this entire process. But off the bat, it seems to be going well based on him telling his mom.
We're starting off on a great note.
We are.
But how long can it stay like that? But we're still in the greatness.
We start with the cuteness. It's honestly, it stays cute the whole time, but we got to deal with real life, because real life is not a fairy tale.
Unfortunately.
But the good vibes stay for about, I don't know. The good vibes stay for like at least 2 months. So then we get a bunch of montages of them in the honeymoon stage of their relationship where it's just they let them kiss so much in the show.
They do.
Like so much. It's really great. Like we never get this in queer shows ever. Like ever.
You get one kiss, that's it.
Yes.
If that.
Or they brush a cheek. So like
the little caress.
I think it's a caress. And it's like, what? I waited 7 seasons for this caress.
But you hold on to that. You savor it,
and then write fan fiction that you were robbed. But in Heartstopper, there's no robbing, and this isn't just like a TV show choice to like make it queerer. Like in the books, they kiss a lot. Like it just that was Heartstopper. Period. Like that's just what it is. They just get to be cute and
how do you think their
with
hearts
each other.
stop?
Huh?
How do you think their hearts stop? They're too busy kissing each other that they forget to breathe.
Exactly. Charlie actually does say that about Nick. He forgets to breathe around him. So yeah, heart stop. But the montage is really cute. Again, they have like the 4 panes, so it feels like the graphic novel. And I thought that was a good way to show the passage of time to kind of merge those two things. And it's just them being cute and hanging out constantly. So they seem to spend those 2 months very much around each other a lot. So that was also really being implied by this. And just kissing every chance they get. And we get a bunch of high highs from them. So it's just like nothing has really changed with the two of them.
Is it Heartstopper if no one says hi?
And no one says it back. At least
like,
twice in a row.
Like 10 times.
Yeah. No, then it's not Heartstopper. But those 2 months are the cutest. But unfortunately, when they go back to, I guess 2 months later, I don't know if there's a break. I don't know if that was the school break or not. But when we're 2 months later from the beginning, it's like exam prep time for the year 11s, the GCSEs, which Nick is a year 11. So he's got his big exams to prep for. So that's a big focus for him. And he comes into the gym, I guess, because it's big enough to hold all the year 11s, and looks at a seating chart and is like, cool. And then goes to find his seat in this giant gym. And of course, he's slated to sit next to Ben because drama. But I have a qualm with this whole thing because we get to meet Mr. Farouk in this scene. He's in charge because of course he is. And he's like, listen, my rules for this are you need to shut the fuck up and sit here and study because this is like dedicated study time for these big exams that like determine where you're going to go next or what's going to happen to you or if you retake them or whatever. So like this is dedicated study time for everybody. No talking aloud. But then the school sits them in pairs, which I don't understand. If this is independent study and no one's supposed to talk or work together, why are they sitting next to each other?
It is odd because then during the exam, they do pull them apart.
Right. Why is it not set up like the actual exam then?
Also, like why are they in a room? Like, why can't they just be in their like normal? I don't understand. Like, I guess the form. Is that what it is? Their homerooms. Can I just say that?
Yes.
Because why aren't they separated by their years then? Because that would be so much easier. Just have them study there.
I wonder if the population of the school is not big enough. So you need like
20
teachers.
Yeah, that's
to do that versus
I've been
like
in bigger schools, so I'm not used to
that's
small
what I think. And also I'm not super clear on how this actually works. In one of the books, Alice had somebody else who's like an American that lived in England, like write a Q&A of like for the American version to be like, some of the stuff's probably confusing. Let me answer some of these questions. And they kind of explain the form and the years and stuff. So like, I understand it better, but I'm still kind of fuzzy on it. But like, that is normal for like multiple years to kind of be together in the
I meant to look into the GCSEs more, but I didn't. So
it's basically like, I think I explained. Explained to you. So if you don't know what the GCSE is, I forget what the acronym stands for, but generally what it is, it's it's not like the SATs, which is the American version of like when you're in high school, you basically take that to go to the next level of education, which we call college, but it's called, that's the equivalent of university in the UK. So we in America interchange words that have distinct meanings in the UK or it might just be England. I'll just stick with England for the purpose of this. But the way this goes is like when they're in their grade school, which is what they're doing right now. I think it goes up to year 13 in total. But year 11 is when you take essentially your exams, and they take a total of 3 exams, and the student gets to pick what subject they want to take these 3 exams in. So like the SATs for us, it's just the SATs is what it is, and everybody takes the same test. Here, it's these tests, you take a total of 3, but you get to pick the subjects. So Nick picks math, chemistry, and something else. But Ben could be taking like literature, art, or something else. Like it's up to you to pick the exams, but you have to pass all 3 of them to like move on to the next level. So if like you fail chemistry, but you pass the other 2, you have to retake all of them again to pass. So it's like, that's why they're so stressed out about it. And then, so the reason they do that is because then year 12 and 13, they get to focus more on those subjects. So it's kind of like up to year 11, you have to kind of figure out, what do I want to do career-wise, or like, what do I want to study next? And so this is the entrance exam to like go focus start focusing in those subjects. And for year 12 and 13, students can either stay where they are. So like Nick could either stay at Truum, or he can go to a different school to finish 12 and 13. And if you go to a different school for 12 and 13, they call that college. So in Elle's case, she's trying to focus on art and go to art college for year 12 and 13. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
All but the college, like it being called college.
Because it's called college.
No, I understand that we're very American. So,
but if Elle stays at Higgs, it's not called college anymore. She's just staying. College is physically going somewhere else for your last 2 years. That's what it means. It would be
sixth form.
If sixth form is separate from that. And then after they finish year 13, then they go to university, which is what we call college or university, depending on who you're talking to or what the school is named.
Yeah, depending on how big the school is.
Yeah, we've butchered that word, but beyond graduate year, you go into undergraduate studies. What we call here is what they call university. And that's, you cannot do that at Truum. You like have to go to a place called a university to study. Yeah. So that's what's happening here. They're prepping for potential college, or they're prepping for college is basically what they're doing, which is year 12 and 13 if you go to a different school, basically.
Yeah. I understand more now. It helped during watching Dairy Girls.
Yeah.
I understood some things.
Yeah. So that's the gist of what's happening here. So they have to take 3 exams. And so because it's so important and the school actually cares, they give them independent time to prep for that's why they can't do group study, I guess, in this setting, because everybody's studying for different exams. So, but apparently you have to sit next to somebody, and Ben is sitting next to Nick. And of course, Ben has to start in with Nick. He can't just leave anything alone. And he's like, why won't you talk to me, Nick? I didn't do anything to you. So like, I love that he's trying to gaslight Nick, because Nick watched him assault Charlie and literally pulled him off of Charlie and was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he's like, why did I do anything to you? Ben?
I mean, if you hurt Charlie, you hurt Nick. They're one person.
Right. But what, Ben?
But also, Ben asked Nick if he's going to ignore him for 2 weeks, which, like, okay, they're sitting next to each other, but they're literally told not to talk. So, yeah, he's supposed to ignore you.
I know, this conversation is weird. Okay, so this doesn't happen in the book at all. This is here specifically for drama in the show. So, yeah, it's weird. All of it is weird. But I guess Nick has been ignoring him for like 2 months, which, like, were they ever really friends? I feel like Ben, it's like they're in the same year, and I feel like Ben kind of hung out-ish with the rugby guys, which is where Nick really is.
Ben's not in rugby, right?
No, he's not.
Okay, so
but like, I guess
that
it's
makes
like
even less sense.
Popular guys kind of hung out with each other, but like Ben really wasn't a huge part of like Nick's social circle before Charlie. So like, I feel like he's upset, and Ben has this drive for people to see him as a good guy, and he knows that Nick doesn't. So he's like, why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything to you. You shouldn't be mad at, like, hate me or anything. But Nick is not having any of this, which is the bottom line. And so there's tension there. Speaking of rugby, when we left things out last season, Charlie was trying to like make Nick's life better, and he's like, I need to leave rugby because what am I even doing here? So it starts with Charlie rejoining the rugby team. And part of his motivation there is not because he loves rugby, but it's because he's noticed that Nick and his rugby friends aren't as close anymore. Because like, assumption is that Nick is like is afraid to come out to them, so he's just been distancing himself. And we saw the 2 months, Charlie. You guys were joined at the hip the whole time, so not a lot of time to see the rugby lads if you're just making out constantly and playing Mario Kart. So also your fault. But Charlie rejoins the rugby team to try to like get Nick comfortable with his friends again.
And the rugby team really just welcomes him back. Like, really excited that he's there.
Yeah. So because remember,
the rugby very different.
Different from like season 1, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like flipped.
I feel like Charlie proved himself to be a decent rugby player. And they're like, okay.
I think he is.
Huh? Well, Charlie's self-esteem is in the toilet, and it has been since he was outed. So, yeah, you see a lot of hints throughout the season of just how Charlie views himself versus how other people view Charlie. Like, everybody he chooses to surround himself with now views him very positively. But Charlie has low self-worth, and that is a direct result of the PTSD of being outed. And then Ben doing his power play with Charlie to be like, you're not worth anything. I won't talk to you in the halls. Like, Charlie got some trauma.
Yeah, poor Charlie. I relate to Charlie. I feel Charlie.
Yeah. It's totally understandable, like, given what he went through, and now why he's so protective or driven to make sure that Nick doesn't have that experience. It's because he was so messed up and just hurt by it, and Nick is like this pure little puppy dog, and you don't want anything bad to happen to the puppy dog.
No.
You gotta protect a puppy dog.
Yeah. I mean, look at the face.
Look at your face. And Nick, to his credit, like, Nick, he wants to come out. He made the first step. He did it with his mom, which is like the safest environment ever, like, in his life where he could actually do that. But he's finding a really hard time to like tell other people aside from like, his mom. And
that's because Olivia Colman's amazing and is so accepting of him. And
you had to come out to anybody. You come out to her. So like, yeah, he had like the best case scenario for his first person to come out to. And while it's really clear that Nick is not just saying this to appease Charlie, because I feel like very easily a Ben-Charlie dynamic would have been like, yeah, I'm going to come out. And they never does or even tries to do it. But Nick clearly like wants to. But the person who's most stressed out about Nick coming out is Charlie.
Yeah. He's got a lot of anxiety for Nick.
So much anxiety. And it's clear that he's trying to like forget all of that. And he keeps using the word perfect. It's going to be perfect. This is perfect. It's going to be perfect. Like, almost like he's trying to convince himself that like everything's fine when it's not. Like, yeah.
But he's so worried about Nick getting outed. Yet they kiss in public so many times. Like, how was that not how he was outed? I don't get it.
I'm going to hydrate to lesbian Jesus for all their kissing because it's adorable and super gay.
I mean, quite a few people do find out that he's gay because they catch them kissing.
Okay, but like, I think the one in this particular episode that was the diciest is when they're in the boys' locker room. There were still people in that locker room.
Were there still people there?
Yes. because they kiss and then people leave and they break apart. I'm like, boys.
Oh my gosh. Oh, no one had the brain cell there.
No. But I mean, to be fair, I think it speaks to the level of their feelings, obviously, and just how comfortable they are with each other that like the world goes away, even when they're in dicey situations. But yeah, you are correct. Like if they were so worried about this, these things wouldn't happen. But they make for funny moments.
Yeah, they do.
But let's go to the opposite side of that spectrum and go talk about Tao and Elle. Because while they both realized in season 1 that they have romantic feelings for each other, they are still in the will they, won't they phase. Because they are our slow burn ship.
Which is very different from normal shows because it's not the poor gays struggling to tell themselves that they like each other.
Yeah, I feel like for Tao and Elle, I'm waiting 7 seasons for that cheek caress.
Oh my gosh.
So we get to their thing, which is apple juice. That is just their thing. I think at this point it's safe to say.
Yeah, I mean the show makes me want apple juice.
It does. I don't even drink apple juice.
I haven't drank apple juice in so long, and I'm just like, that looks so good. Like the label that they have on it too, it's just it's perfect.
It's appealing.
It's perfect. Everything's perfect.
It is. It's perfect. So perfect.
But Tao and Elle basically fight over the last apple juice, but they don't fight it because they want it. They want the other person to have it. And while I was like thinking about it, I'm like, is this for their version of olive juice?
I think it is. That's so good, Kaitlynn. Oh, that's so good. So if you don't know what Kaitlynn's talking about, go read Girls Like Girls by Lesbian Jesus. Because like, yeah, no, dude, like apple juice, olive juice, I think it is. Because the apple juice comes up a lot for them. So I like that.
Yeah. So this is their way. That the apple juice is their feelings.
It is.
And they're trying to give it to the other person.
They're like, I don't want these feelings. You take the feelings. But this is cute. I love this scene too. It's really cute because they're in the convenience store like before school to buy snacks. And so like they're not alone. Like I think and Charlie are watching this like, can they just kiss already? Like what?
No, Charlie's too busy looking at a candy bar that
true.
Reminds him of Nick.
True. Isaac is watching these two being like
Isaac just watches everybody. It's like these dumb
just let's put them together.
These idiots in love. They're all in love and I hate it. That's because they won't just tell each other. But it seems fitting that this is the first place we see Tao freak out about his feelings because Tao ends up just running out of the convenience store because he's so in love with Elle. This poor dude. Oh, he can't handle his feelings. So he's just like, I gotta get out of here.
They're too big.
But I believe it's the next episode where he comes back and then admits his feelings. So it's just really cute that everything happens in this convenience store.
In that aisle,
corner store.
It's the same aisle.
Well, yes, the really candy aisle, Theora. Where else are they supposed to go? A candy and apple juice aisle.
Yeah, duh. But yeah, it's really cute. So they're still obviously in their feelings, and no one will take the apple juice. So
the apple juice just there, it's just one apple juice.
It's just one. Oh yeah, that's right. I should have mentioned. It's a single apple juice container, so they had to fight over it, and then be like, "You take it. No, you take it. You take it."
It's so lonely on the shelf.
It is. It just wanted love, like Tao and Elle. Oh my god, it's such a good metaphor. Damn it. Now I have poor feelings about them.
The more we talk about this apple juice, the more we're like, this apple juice is amazing. This is the greatest actor of the entire show.
It had layers, is what I'm saying. I think we've proved that. Don't worry, there's more apple juice in other scenes. We'll get back to that. But other things that's going on with Tao and in the Tao and Elle plot line is that kind of like I mentioned earlier when we're talking about the GCSEs, Elle is also a year 11, like Nick, and she's taking her GCSEs this year and is considering leaving Higgs to go to a prestigious art college called Lambert. And so to do that, she has to like physically leave. And this school is not near where they live. So it's like a couple hours away by whatever mode of transport they use, which obviously would be a big deal because it's really a hard transition when you see somebody every single day to like not even being able to do that if you wanted to go see them. That obviously would be a big change for Elle and Tao, who has abandonment issues.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, which totally understandable based on what happened with him and his dad, and I get it. He's a little traumatized.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know why my head cannot wrap around the fact that the girls and the boys are separate. Because I'm like, but we never see, why isn't Elle in the group for the GCSEs? I'm like, she's in a different school. And this is not the first time. Like, I do this every time. I'm like, oh, she's not there. I'm like, oh, that's because she's not in that school.
Okay. To confuse you more. So in Solitaire, Solitaire is the first book. It follows Tori, who goes to Higgs. Tori, who is Charlie's sister. Apparently, for like college, like year 12 and 13, boys can go to Higgs for year 12 and 13, and girls can go to Truro. Yeah, what? I was like, what? Why do we have two different schools then?
That makes no sense. And also, is it common for the boys and girls to be separated in this country? Or is it just like, are these private schools?
Please answer in the comments. We are Americans that do not know.
I've never felt more like a stupid American than I do like trying to learn this world. And it's not even like a fantasy world. It's real life, and I can't understand it. And I could probably get lost for a week in research of trying to learn English.
Kaitlynn is really perplexed by Alice's world building.
I don't get it.
Truly though, like I don't understand gender segregating school to begin with. As somebody who did not grow up in that environment, I understand it less when they're like, well, for 12 and 13, you can go to the other school. I find that strange.
But that makes it really weird. I don't understand
it confusing.
How that is even part of the school, though. Like, if it's just, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it hurts my brain. So yeah, if you can answer any of that for us, please do. I've tried looking it up. I'm still confused. But anyway, speaking of confusing, Tao's behavior starts confusing Elle because she's being told by her friends to like, hey, go for it. He probably likes you. He's just shy. Look at him. And she does, but like Tao, instead of like is so afraid of like ruining their friendship and like fucking it up basically, that he's like, it's better if we don't cross that line, even if I like you. And so he's trying to like avoid those situations, evade them, almost avoids Elle a little bit, where she's getting really confused. Because he's like, I don't want her to get the impression that I'm into her because I don't want to ruin our friendship because it means everything to me.
But in the process of avoiding these feelings, he makes Elle feel like he is avoiding her.
Yeah.
Like, think about like your best friend that you have feelings for. They're just avoiding you and you don't know what you did.
Yeah.
And because I wonder if because she came out as trans and had to go through all of that, and people definitely was probably avoiding her and definitely being standoffish, like that has to be even harder because she's just thinking like, well, what did I do? Even though Tao's just got lots of going on up here. And
yeah.
Here.
and it would have been nice. I understand that Elle is not the main focus of Heartstopper. Like, to be fair, in the show they flesh out the friends a lot more than the books do. But I really want an Elle book that really showed her journey and all of that stuff, because that's an excellent point, Kaitlynn. Like, does Elle have residual like PTSD / defense mechanisms from her experience of being trans, which we don't know much about. I think there's an episode later where Tao just mentions like it went really bad. Like she had a bad experience, like when she first, transitioned or came out, as trans.
Right now, it looks like it didn't affect her at all, which we know is not true. Like
totally.
All of those experiences go into who she is right now. So I would definitely love to know more of her backstory and see it more.
Oh, yes. But this point you bring up is so good. I didn't even think about it. Thank you. Because to have that behavior from Tao must be devastating because he has been her constant this whole time. Like he even mentioned, like, I think in episode 5, he's like, I was there for her through all that stuff, when they were he's fiercely protective of all of his friends. So like to have Tao acting weird. Yeah, that must be very scary for her and like not feel good,
Yeah. I mean, my best friend, like say like you just started avoiding me for no reason. And like
Bye.
No, that really. Hold on, actually affected me.
I'm sorry.
No, like that would feel awful. And to have someone like, I believe they've been friends since they were little, right?
I guess that's the other thing.
I know he was friends with
Charlie when they were younger. I don't know, but presumably a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Such a hard situation when you fall in love with your friend. I presume.
it feels impossible, for the two of them, because you think about it, it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because these feelings they're messing things up even when you're trying to have them not mess things up, Yeah. It's really hard. Oh. I love them. Yeah, Alice, please write books about Elle. I would like to see more about Elle.
Everybody needs their own backstory book.
That'd be so great.
Because we pick up in a place with all of them where so much has happened in their lives. I really want to know more about everybody growing up.
Everyone. Yeah, I totally agree.
We need one of those like fan fiction books where like they start as like children and like you see their lives grow up.
That'd be great. If one exists, please send it to us.
Yeah. I'm sure something exists.
I hope so. Okay. But speaking of growing up, apparently in this world, you're never too old to have sleepovers with your friends, which I found strange. Like giant sleepovers, because Charlie is hosting, in his efforts to make things perfect for Nick, he's hosting a giant sleepover at his house while his parents are out. And Tori's there, I guess, to supervise. And he's concocting this plan because Nick wants to come out to people who matter to him. That's kind of where we left off with things on the beach. And so who matters to Nick, who is a good person, not a dick, doesn't play rugby? Enter Imogen, who they've been friends for a long time, which they keep mentioning. And so everybody's gathering. They've got all the snacks in the world. We're getting ready for Imogen to come over.
But Charlie, no, I'm sorry. I still mix up Charlie and Nick, and I don't understand why. I know who is who, but like when I say stuff, it's just they're one person, so they're interchangeable in my brain. So Nick comes over first, and they hug, and Tori has this little smile while she's drinking her drink, of course. When she sees them together, and we love a supportive sister. We have
Okay, listen. After watching Solitaire or reading it, I wish I could watch it. She's stupidly protective of Charlie, so you were reading that absolutely correctly. Like new respect for Tori.
I definitely want to read like her story.
It's good.
We have her story. Like we need everybody has to have their own story.
Apparently, okay. Somebody in our YouTube comments. I will shout you out in another episode with the Tori theory, but mentioned that there is a book that focuses on the character Isaac was based off of as well, like a standalone.
Oh yeah, I did.
I need to get it. I think it's called. I think it's Radio Silence. Is that book?
I don't know. I want to get that one too. But the person who commented that, thank you for all your comments because
oh my God,
it helped me understand more as well, and it was just great to see someone take the time to respond to our episode like that. It makes us very happy.
It does. So shout out to you. I will shout out your name. Your name is in our notes for another episode. I will shout you out for real.
Yeah.
When we get to that.
We will praise you
so much.
Even more. But I love how when they find out, I don't know if they know what the sleepover is for, but when they all find out that Imogen's coming to, and Nick wants to come out to her, and Darcy's like, it'll be fine because she's an ally.
Oh my God, one of the best lines. Remember that. She's an ally in air quotes. Okay. Can we air quote the ally?
Oh, they did do air quotes?
I'm air quoting it. She's an ally, quote unquote.
She is an ally. and then they're dancing. And literally everyone,
the spontaneous Darcy dance party.
Everyone's telling Nick to tell her. And like, how does she not notice that everyone next to her is saying, tell her?
Yeah, they're like straight up stage whispering. The music's not that loud.
This whole sleepover, I love it.
Well, I guess Imogen's being a good quote-unquote ally and not assuming what they're talking about.
She doesn't like to assume, I feel like. Which I feel that, like, good for Imogen, but sometimes it just makes her really oblivious. But I don't think she's really as oblivious because of this.
No, she's not. She notices stuff. She notices stuff, for sure.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. But it's okay. Nick gets there. So Nick feels the peer pressure. He's ready to go. And Imogen is like, I gotta use the bathroom. So Nick's like, perfect. I'll take you up the stairs to the bathroom. And then before you can go to the bathroom, I have to tell you something really important real quick. And I'm like, Nick, buddy, can she pee first and then tell her after?
It's already weird enough that you're taking her to the bathroom.
Correct.
Instead of just pointing to where it is.
Yeah, this was already weird. Like, the poor woman probably has to pee, but it doesn't matter. So he finally he's trying to like get the words out. And Imogen's like, is this because you're with Charlie? Like, can we just cut to the chase here? And so it starts off going well. She's like, listen, I'm not surprised. I had eyes. And then Imogen is like, now this all makes sense to me why you didn't want to go out with me. It's because you're gay and you're into Charlie. That makes sense now. I understand why her brain went there. But I like that they, through these interactions and through some thoughts that Nick has, they really show the extra barriers people have, like, as bisexuals. Because, like, the assumptions that get put on you. So because he's dating Charlie, who's out as gay, the assumption is, oh, you're gay and you didn't want to date me. Not like you just weren't into me. So
the confidence she has in herself, though, because like that's the only reason he could possibly not want to date me.
Right. So like, yeah. So like, again, that's an assumption that gets put on him, and he's like, it's because I'm bisexual. And then her poor face, she's like, oh, so you just didn't like me? I feel so bad for her, but like, I don't think she meant it maliciously. It was just like, oh, that I get it now. But he's like, no, dear, I have to hurt you again. I'm sorry. But I totally love her reaction to all of this, is that she just, even though she kind of knew that that's what was happening with them, she still didn't have the words to like comfort Nick, so she just hugged him. She's just like, I don't know how to react to this. I'm just gonna hug you. I really love that. But that's also, how she does it.
She didn't let him say it. She like outed him to herself.
She did do that. She was excited.
She's like, oh shit, I should have let you say it. But this one relationship, she was not oblivious.
No, not at all.
And she may not know how to react to the news that she's the one who said, but she found out that he was bisexual. So that was the big news for her. But hugs are always great and reassuring, as long as you like hugs.
True. Which Nick does. He hugs everybody all the time.
Yes, because he is a puppy.
He's a puppy. So they earlier in the episode were kind of doing this, who do you like? Who do you like stuff? And Imogen's like, I have a secret crush. I'm not going to tell you. So at this point, Nick's like, listen, I told you my crush. I mean, you knew it, and it's a cat's out of the bag now. So now you have to tell me yours. And so, of course, her answer is Ben. because of course it is.
Freaking Ben Misery. My second note is I wish we didn't know who it was.
I know. I wish it was another character that she hasn't met yet, and we'll get to that later.
Yes. I was like, wait, who? And then I was like, oh, wait, no, the person that we want.
The person that we want are... I wouldn't even call it a crack ship. I think we're going in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be in the last episode, I believe. But, like, go all about that.
Yes. Oh, there's some stuff. We'll fangirl about that later. But
it's so hard not to do it now.
Well, let's fangirl about Tara and Darcy instead.
Okay.
Because we love them. So we kind of catch up with them a little bit. It seems like nothing really has changed in the 2-month time jump. They're still going strong. But at this party, there's some dialogue in here that's important that I think starts off their overarching plot line throughout season 2, because they're having a sleepover, and Tara mentions that her mom lets her and Darcy have sleepovers, which... What? What? I'm pretty sure Tara's out to her parents, so weird. But good on you. Good on you. Equality or whatever. But there's the mention that Darcy's parents never let people over. That's how Tara puts it. So already starting the suspicious what is going on with Darcy's home life thing kind of starts here.
Yeah, and it's also Darcy's first instance of quickly changing the subject so it doesn't stay on her and her family.
Yeah.
Because she's very good at avoiding shit.
So, more on that the rest of the season. We haven't caught up with Isaac yet, so what's going on with Isaac? So, Isaac is still his lovely King Isaac self. And he, in this sleepover party, seems like really genuinely happy for Nick and Charlie, who, you know, they're finally boyfriends and doing their thing, and happy for Darcy and Tara, who are always really happy, and Elle and Tao, who are like being cutesy still, even though they're trying not to like be cutesy. But he is clearly like, can they just get this over with? I'm tired of this will they won't they nonsense. But there are a lot of long shots of Isaac during this sleepover, kind of like when they're all together, of him just like staring at these couples and like pondering to himself, almost like he is questioning himself a little bit, because he is like, aside from Imogen, he's the only single person really in that room or in his friend group. And so I think everybody's at the age where they're having crushes and starting to date for the first time. And Isaac is still like by himself with his book. So I think he's starting to, this is the sort of him kind of questioning, like, who am I? What's my sexuality kind of thing? Just by like observing his friends being happy in their little pairs, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I was thinking about like how he always had a book. And like, yeah, I know people like to read, but I feel like maybe Isaac, when he was younger or something, started using books as a way to avoid situations, because he's like always surrounded by couples and stuff, and like he doesn't connect to these people. So he's like, well, I'll find books and connect to them, to a way to escape into a different world.
Oh my God, that's so good. And I like that. It's almost like the way Darcy uses humor to like avoid deep conversations, avoid her feelings and stuff. Maybe that, yeah, Isaac, his books is his defense mechanism. Yeah. Ooh, that's really good. I love that. Also,
Ooh.
he just loves his
yeah. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, him and books.
Because like he always does that too, where he's like, I'm just gonna go back to my book, forget about this. It's his escapism in a way too.
He got more lines this season though.
He did. His storyline is one of my favorites. I love him. Other first that we get in this season, in this episode, to kind of wrap it up, is Nick and Charlie kiss in front of their friends for the first time. As like the sleepover, it's next morning, sleepover's wrapping up. Everybody's outside. Charlie's like, okay, bye everybody. And then Nick's like, yeah, I'm just gonna kiss you. And then like, it's one of those kisses where he like forgets the friends are there until the friends are like,
Till the friends are being their friends, and definitely have to cause attention to it and say how whoever thought that you weren't gay or something like that.
that was Darcy. She's like, who thought you were straight?
Darcy.
Come down.
But this is the first time like I tried to like think about the leaves. And so
Sorry, that's just a funny sentence.
Because I've always gotten excited about the leaves because it went
Wow.
right from the other show where there was a tree. But anyway, the leaves were a big thing for us. Like we got a lot of things with leaves and trees. But the leaves, and I'm just looking at them outside and then the leaves flowing around them, that it made me realize that like maybe that's like whenever they feel free is when the leaves can finally be free to fly around.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, versus like attached to the tree and they're like still pretending or they have their walls up. Yeah, I like that. I think that makes perfect sense.
It reminds me of like the fall, like how it is right now, and it's like beautiful and it's just like you feel the breeze on you and then you just feel like anything is possible. I don't know if that's just me, but that's how I feel in the fall, and that's why it's my favorite season.
Mine too. But yeah, I like that. That's the moment then, because that makes sense, like based on that kiss and the fact that they clearly lost track of time and where they were, like they were just being themselves in that moment. Yeah, like free, like a falling leaf. Damn, Kaitlynn, that's so good. I didn't think about that. I know that the leaves are just like they're in the comic books like as little transitions, but I like that interpretation of them way better because like the animations a lot of times will like depict a feeling, like you said, like when they're like oh, there's like hearts or there's like Tao and Elle's thing is butterflies. Yeah, I think the leaves for them. Yeah, I like that interpretation.
Although the animations are like stay constant, they make it slightly different in ways to like portray different things. So once like because of seeing like the butterflies throughout the season and noticing those things, because you brought that up since it was like so drastic, I was like something I'm just gonna start looking at these things.
Yeah, no, totally. It's very like Easter eggy, like with the animation either itself or like that symbol being in the background or on people's clothing or phone cases or things like that. It's I think you're right. I think it depicts state of mind or a feeling that's happening in that scene. Yeah, that's good. All right, what a good place.
I love when you say that.
What?
That damn, that's good. I'm like, yes, I succeeded.
No, your interpretations are great. This is why we have these discussions, because like that makes me want to go rewatch this and like watch all the leaf scenes again and just be like, they're free.
I feel like there's like a leaf compilation.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh my gosh. So what did you think of this episode?
Honestly, I thought this was a really strong way to start the season. I love the continuity between the end of season 1 and the start of season 2. The fact that they picked it up immediately to kind of be like, have Nick and Charlie be like, I came out to my mom and that kind of stuff. And then have a 2-month really quick time explanation with the montage. I loved that. Instead of just being like, it's 2 months later. I loved that aspect of this episode. And overall, it was great. Like we got to catch up with everybody and set up the season, like kind of set it up a little bit. So I loved it. It's so good.
It was a strong opening.
It really was. The episodes just keep getting better and better, in my opinion. And so we're off to a great start. I can't wait to keep talking.
And we have so much more to talk about.
And
we're getting to it now, but I mean, you'll see it in a week or two. I mean, just keep watching.
Keep watching.
Review the things. But yeah, until next time.
Hydrate for Lesbian Jesus.
I'm gayed up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing, super gay content.
If you'd like to support us, check out our merch store, or join our Patreon for early access to episodes, exclusive content, and so much more.
Until next time, stay safe and hydrate for Lesbian Jesus.